Hello, and welcome back. It is once again time for some Final Fantasy XIV. Last we left off was like 2 weeks ago. Because I wasn't able to stream last week. But, we discovered there's some weird timey-wimey stuff going on. Still don't quite understand A, why Zeralja is like this, B, how he was able to subjugate this high-tech civilization, and then the queen decided, yeah, you know what, you can have my army to go off and do stuff, as long as you'll not attack my people anymore. And I'm like, bro, how? How did any of this... What? I don't know, man. Some weird shenanigans going on. Also, apparently the gate to the Golden City is actually a gate to another reflection. And of course, you know, I mean, that explains time difference shenanigans, but doesn't explain how a, like, sphere, or, I don't know, this, like, weird sphere appeared and a bunch of, stuff and people from that other reflection got instantly transported to this reflection, or to the source, I guess. Weird stuff goings on, but before we get into all that, we will start with the Rising event that's going on right now. Shouldn't take too long, and I believe we'll get to meet Yoshi P again. So, let's get to it. Over here. It is very bright here in Limbs and Laminza. Also, we've got this, like, lovely main song playing in the background. Oh yeah, I did swap out my swords. At least for now. They do look nice. And they glow. Albeit a Nerf orange, but... Hello, wandering minstrel. Rising to the call. The wandering minstrel seeks an adventurer both willing and able to help put the finishing touches to this year's Rising celebrations. Of all the coincidences, you will hardly believe it, but I was just this very moment reminiscing of the time you lent me your strength a 12-month past. You see, I again find myself in pressing need of an adventurer's aid, just as I did last Rising. Oh, if only Gymnasio were here, I thought to myself, and here you are! Well then, what do you say? Shall we clasp arms once more? Sure. My thanks. The matter is this. I have been approached by a lady named Ayoyo, who wishes to imprint her own inimitable mark upon the skies above Limsa Lominsa. I speak, of course, of the fireworks that illuminate these rising nights. Learning of my contribution to previous year's festivities, she has enlisted me to her cause. We already have the ear of the organizing committee. However, Lady Ayoyo has expressed a strong desire to consult with a storied adventurer before finalizing her proposal. Come to the Yellow Jackets guardhouse at the base of the Coral Tower, and I will introduce you. Seasonal event quest accepted. Very well. We go here. Where? Oh, he's probably downstairs, isn't he? Or she. He or she. Mr. Yo-Yo. There they are. Lady Yo-Yo, one-storied adventurer as promised.
Blessing of the 12 upon you. My name's a Yo-Yo, Cannoneer First Class with the Yellow Jackets. It's an honor to have ye on board.
Did I mention that it is the Yellow Jackets who are in charge of this year's festivities? Not only in decorating of these fair Leminzen streets, but in designing and constructing the fireworks that brighten the skies above them. Lady Yo-Yo here is quite the savant in all matters incendiary and explosive, and so it has fallen to her to formulate a plan for the display's crowning glory.
Me and the other lads and lassies of the Cannoneers whipped up a load of lovely little drakes, snakes and devils for the Moonfire Fair, but more of the same ain't going to cut it for the rising. 'Cause it's all about remembering those we lost in the calamity, ain't it? Them and theirs deserve something a mite specialer than a bunch of old bangers.
An admirable sentiment, I'm sure. It would not do for our ode to such poignant memories to be aught less than memorable. Let us make this year's rising one that the citizens of this fair realm will not soon forget.
Took the words right out of me mouth, dearie. Thing is, I haven't hardly set foot out of Limsa in all me days. I don't reckon I'm best placed to know what's going through the minds of the citizens of this fair realm.
And so you would pick an adventurer's brains, one who has journeyed far and wide across this land we love, and knows it and its people intimately. Well, look no further. Yet before we call upon your particular wisdom, mayhap it would behoove us to seek out a wider range of opinions. Many and more look to the skies come rising night, and the thoughts that run through their minds are no doubt as diverse. Let us learn them.
Sounds like a plan. Mind if I join you, dearie? Could do with learning some of these thoughts myself.
Nodders.
Right then. Where's best to start asking around? Some place a lot of outsiders gather, I reckon. How about we meet in the Aetheryte Plaza, down in the lower decks?
While you two are so engaged, allow me to continue our discussions. Yeah. Allow me to continue our discussions with the organizing committee. I shall await you by the aft castle. Yeah. Aetheryte Plaza. Well, for that I could just quickly transport for 50 gil. Or for free. Why not? Ayo-yo.
You see them lights down Knockers Alley, dearie? Decorations for the festival, they are. Every year when the streets are all decked out for the rising, me heart fills with, well, all kinds of feelings. Sorrow, pride, regret. But enough about me. We came here to find out how the other folks feel about it. Let's split up, head down the alley and ask a few likely looking customers each. We're on a schedule here, so don't go asking every single soul you see. 4 or 5 should do ye. I'll meet you down by the ferry docks when you're done.
Sounds good. Swissblet. Welcome, welcome. What may I interest you in this fine morning? Ah, information, is it? Well, if you really must know, the whizzing and banging that fills the air this season always takes me back to the time just before the calamity struck. A great festival was held to celebrate the reformation of the Grand Companies. People in the streets were hooting and hollering and setting off fire spouts, and all the ships in the bay, now bedecked in maelstrom colors, let loose their cannons. It seems so foolish now, knowing what was soon to befall us, but all that noise served a purpose nonetheless, drowning out the fear that ever whispered in our ears. It is my firm belief that the rising fireworks serve the same purpose even now. They present a vision of loveliness, of togetherness, that we might forget our fears and be given hope for a brighter future. Okay, just making sure there's no one else in that section. Middle-aged mariner. The streets are full of life, the sky's full of fire, and the westerly winds filling our seafarers' sails as it does our hearts. Ah, I couldn't have picked a better time to come home. You a sailor too, are you? Not exactly. Helping with the fireworks, you say? Good on you, lass. I've a few memories of back then, if you've an ear to hear 'em. I'm a merchant seaman, you see, always sailing hither and thither across the waves. Was just back from a trip to Rodzatan when the calamity struck. Everyone was looking up to the sky and that loathsome lantern that hung low in it. Like most folk, I don't remember much of what happened in the days before or after it fell, but I'll never forget those faces. And that's what I love so much about the fireworks. You see the same faces looking up at this time with a smile. Reminds ye not only of the bad times, but how we got over them. Judgeby.
Alright there. Anything I can do for you? You're asking for people's thoughts on the rising fireworks? Heh, would have thought a great hero like you would have better things to do with your time. But I suppose that's what makes you a hero, eh? Helping people out whichever way you can. Well, I'm like most people, I suppose. I think of those I lost. My parents most of all. Wonder if they're watching too. Swum up from the bottom of the ethereal sea to see what all the crashing and banging's about. It's complicated, I suppose. Feel sad they're gone, but happy I'm not, and grateful to Badaran saving me and so many others. If they are watching, I hope they can see me too. See that I'm doing all right for myself, and that they might sleep soundly for another 12 months.
Lovely. Yeah, look at all these orbs. Lighten up the place. Place is looking lovely for the Rising event. Wait a minute, there's one more person somewhere around here? But where? There they are. Misty-eyed Skygazer.
Can you see them too, my love? You're involved with the fireworks and want to know what I think of them? Well, just now I was wondering if they can be seen from far out in the offing. Do you know? I see. The reason I ask is that my husband is out there now. He meant to be back by rising night, but it seems the tide didn't turn in his favor. He was so looking forward to the fireworks. I do hope that he can see them from where he is, that we can share them together, no matter how far apart we might be. That is my only request to you, that you make the finale as bright and boisterous as you can, that all those who cannot be together this rising might still share in its message.
A lovely sentiment. Oh, and suppose I should mention I have not actually logged in to Final Fantasy XIV since 2 weeks ago, really. So I haven't made any progress, but that's because I've been just so busy with work and volunteering for that Renaissance Festival last weekend. Just been exhausted and not had much time for hopping in and leveling classes. Hopefully this week I'll have more time.
Sorry to keep you waiting, dearie. So, what did you find out?
Well, it reminds them of the good times and the sad times, but in a more hopeful light.
Same here. Was half expecting them to just like looking at the pretty lights, but it seems the feeling runs a lot deeper than that. The memories of the calamities still sit heavy on their hearts, but the rising fireworks go some way to lifting that weight. So, any ideas for the grand display? What kind of thing do you reckon it'd help lift those spirits the most?
Something that gives people hope for the future.
Hope for the future, eh? That ain't a bad idea. Reminding folk that however dark the night, dawn is just around the corner. The rising ain't just about mourning those we lost after all. It's about remembering the struggles of those who survived to steer us to a brighter future. Aye, that's it. That's what Limsa needs this rising. Ships, cannons, a departure salute, not just for the fallen, but for those setting sail for unknown shores. A vision of the past and of the future.
Yeah, a second. See if that helps. Just seeing my face whited out because of this screen. No. I need to sit a bit further back. Don't want to be all washed out.
An old bleeding armada filling Galadian Bay, lighting up the very heavens. Who wouldn't want to watch that?
Yeah.
That's so then. The minstrel's going to love it. He said he'd be up by the aft castle, right? I'll see you there.
Right. By the aft castle, then. Back where we first found him. Our intrepid adventurer returns, and positively bursting with inspiration, I take it. I see. A traditional seafaring salute, not only to the memories of the fallen, but to the future fortune of those who follow in their wake. A most fitting proposal, I'm sure.
Thanks, the both of ye. But our work ain't done yet. There's a lot needs sorting out before we can put this idea into action. So much to do, so little time. If you wouldn't mind helping us a little longer, dearie, I'd be forever in your debt. Let me know when you've got your loins good and girded.
I'm ready. It's time to get a brushed up Kryl.
Right then, let's get started, shall we, dearie? The plan is, we're going to line up an old fleet of ships across the bay and have 'em fire a broadside into the sky. But before we go about finding our fleet, we need to get the plan approved by the organising committee, and that means convincing Commodore Rayner. I'll take the lead, but I ain't exactly got the silverest tongue, nor much experience nobbling with the higher-ups. If you two see me struggling, put in a word, won't ye?
Of course, milady. Your cause is ours.
Thank ye, me dears. Together then, to the Coral Tower. Woo.
To the Coral Tower. Oh, that's just at the Marauders there. Gotcha. Last I had the privilege of meeting with the Commodore was around the time of the Calamity. I had been arrested for conspiracy to incite rebellion, naturally. It was all a misunderstanding. Some other scurrilous soul had been singing songs of sedition. If not for Rayner and his relentless pursuit of the truth, I might still be lingering in the brig. He is a shrewd investigator who will brook no equivocation. Shall we then? Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Wanted to make the rising display special. I can fathom, but the sheer scale of this proposal is beyond anything I imagined. Ioyo, need I remind you that the first duty of the Yellowjackets is the keeping of the peace? Filling the bay with ships will not only disturb the daily workings of the harbor, but is sure to foment agitation among the commons. Knowing this, do you still mean to persevere with this outlandish plan?
I do, Commander. Every Limins in art, every Eorzean art, still bears the scars of the calamity. All that loss, that hardship, that struggle, it cut deep. But the Rising ain't just about looking to the past, it's about looking to the future too. And if it's our duty to watch over folk, keep 'em on the straight and narrow like, I reckon it's our duty to see 'em off on another year's journey too.
Well put. I accept that your intentions are pure, but what of the logistics? I trust you have a plan as to who exactly will be providing and paying for this fleet of yours?
Yes, Commander. We're going to petition the Maelstrom for the flagship, and the rest from the Black Sails.
Of course. One is wont to forget that those buccaneering souls remain bound to serve the Maelstrom in times of necessity. Lady Ayoyo would have us parley with the 3 great pirate captains and remind them of their civic duty, it seems.
Aye, that's right. The pirates answered the Admiral's call back when the moon was falling, fought and died at Cartano, same as the rest of us. When they hear about our plan to salute all those who fell and all those who didn't, I doubt they'll answer the call. I don't doubt they'll answer the call again.
I wish you all the luck in the world in recruiting those rogues to your cause. You shall need it. Very well then, allow me to arrange the parley. Should you succeed in this feat, you may consider all of my remaining doubts answered. I bid you remember that you go to speak with pirates, lawless marauders all. Pray that you do not say aught to offend them, lest we find ourselves with a mutiny on our hands. Oh, please. Do I look like someone who hasn't met a few pirates? I shall have the Maelstrom summon the leaders of the 3 factions to the anchor yard. Pray, go there and complete your preparations.
Yeah! Cheers for sticking with me, you two. I hope I can count on your support in the next set of negotiations and all.
Of course, my lady. Alas, I fear the captains, those far-famed scourges of the seas, will prove rather less biddable partners than Commodore Rayner did. While Roswin and the Sanguine Sirens may be swayed by emotion, Carvalane and of the Kraken's Arms is of a much more mercenary mind. The executioners, meanwhile, value honor and glory above all else. If there is aught that unites them, it is a zealous spirit. Let us argue with passion, that we might inflame theirs.
If it's passion you're after, I've got that in bleeding bucket loads. But I might need you two to jump in again, in case me tongue decides to tie itself in affage. Just say the first thing that comes into your heads, and I'll pick up after. Come on then, dearies. Let's head on over to the anchor yard and get this parley started.
Alrighty then. Anchor yards. The Morbid Tridox, yes? No, that's Seeking Sanctuary. Whoops. The anchor yards, oh, they're like lower decks. Actually, we're in the... No, we are in the upper decks, yeah. Lower decks should be... No, it is in the upper decks? That's odd. The anchor yard is in the upper decks? How does that work? Well... Aft castle. Oh, oops. over there. Off we go then. Got a long ways to go on these jobs. Hello there, captains.
Thanks for coming. The reason we asked you here is... Aye, the Maelstrom's summons laid it out for us, loud and clear. Ye want us to help ye with the rise in fireworks. And the answer's no. When my sirens fire a broadside, it's to send our enemies to the bottom of the briny, not to paint pretty pictures in the sky for drylanders to gawp at. We've better things to be doing with our time.
'Tis a rare occurrence, to be sure, but I find that my opinion aligns with Roswin's. Our time is precious, as I'm sure is yours. Let us hasten to draw these discussions to a close. I shall put it bluntly. I see no profit in this endeavor for myself and my men, so unless there is anything else. How sad that the great Carvalin should lose his nose for coin. You would put the Admiral and the Yellow Jackets in your debt. Why, it is the perfect opportunity to forge a deeper bond with Russell. No profit? How sad that the great Carvalin should lose his nose for coin. I did not come here to be insulted. If you know of a method by which the Krakens might stand to gain from this that I do not, then state it. Or else hold your tongue, or better yet, allow me to hold it for you. The sheer scale of the spectacle we propose would no doubt draw all the lords and ladies of the realm to gather in the city, personages of high renown and deep pockets.
Aye. And if they saw you lot working hand in hand with the Maelstrom, it'd do wonders for your public image. Folks who normally wouldn't touch a pirate with a barge pole would be queuing up to do business with you.
I do believe you have a point. Poorly phrased though it might be, to win legitimate business, one must project the image of legitimate businessmen.
Sod your image, and sod anyone who's too lily-livered to trade with us. They can stick their barge poles up their backsides. What's in it for the sirens?
Carvalane's in. Don't you want to be together? What? Corey, that's not a great, yeah. Don't you want to be together?
What are you trying to imply? I'd rather cut me off with a rusty cutlass and have to spend another minute in that preening company. Me and my girls are proper pirates. The Sanguine Sirens ain't told about the pirating life, though, are you? You run almshouses for the sick and injured, and those with child. Keep themselves busy with odd jobs such as come their way. Them's your hunters and the folk who are drawn to the city to see the grand display your quarry. I see where you're going with this. get the girls to set up stalls selling food and grog and the like, and they'd be making a killing, providing they had all the right permits from the Yellow Jackets. You're a shrewd one, you. Maybe I could lend them and myself. They do say the best way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
What of the executioners? There is no dishonor in linking arms with Admiral Mervib and the Maelstrom, surely? You, Yellow Jacket, I want ye to tell me one thing and tell it true. This is Limsa Lominsa, the greatest port in all the realm. Ye could find this fleet of yours without our help, yet ye've come here begging for it. Why?
Because I reckon you're the ones who need the rising most. The Black Sails only came together because of Cartano. Ye could have upped anchor and sailed off into the sunset, but no. Ye fought like demons on those cursed flats, made heroes of yourselves and martyrs. The way I see it, it's only right that those that lost the most when they stood to gain the least should be the ones to fire the salute for the departed. And a salute to the departing, too. The calamity changed the lives of you pirates more than anyone. If anyone should be celebrating new beginnings, it's those whose new beginnings already begun.
Really, we should have led with that. I don't know why we started with all this prophet nonsense.
So it's all for our own good, is it? I'm heading back to the Estalicia. Send word when you've hammered out the details of this display of yours. We'll see what we can do.
Aye, aye, Captain. Can't rightly say no to you now, can I? We lost a lot of good people back in Cartano. Let's send them off with a bloody great bang.
I will join you, on one condition, that in your reminiscence of trauma past, you do not make a shameful spectacle of yourself. Pray do not force me to restrain you again.
I never forced you to do nothing. You'll keep your hands off me if you want to keep 'em, you randy.
Quite the fragile flower, isn't she? Well then, I bid you adieu. My ships will not ready themselves. Nutters.
Woo, yeah! And breathe. God, I was so nervous I could hardly speak. Thanks so much for chipping in when you did. Could have never got him on our side without you. Right then. Time to put the finishing touches to this plan of mine. It's going to be wonderful. I just know it. Oh, and about your word. I've given it to the minstrel. You can grab it from him. To new beginnings, lass. And may the navigator's breath ever fill your sails.
You did a great service, my friend. Both for Lady Ayoyo and for all those who love the Rising, myself included. For that I shall be ever grateful. I expect it shall be still some hours before preparations for the grand finale are complete. Mayhap we could wait together.
Sure. Let's check out them fireworks, eh?
While we wait, would you care to hear a verse that has lately come to me? It is a song of celebration, of encouragement, for all those who sail for unknown shores. Pray, lend me your ears.
Is it Yoshi P time?
It's Yoshi P time. The man, the myth, the legend. Greetings, warrior of light. This is a world that exists outside your reality. Could it be a dream? A flight of fancy conjured by your weary mind? Perhaps, or perhaps not. Naoki Yoshida. 'Tis a pleasure to meet you again. As I have in the past, I have beckoned you here that I might express my gratitude. The road we have walked has been has been long and winding, full of perils and pitfalls, but we have enjoyed every step in your company. We hope that you feel the same about this last great leap. With every adventure we undertake, the longer the legacy we leave behind us. Yet a lengthy history need not mean a foreshortened future. Many adventures yet await. We shall continue to chart a course into the great unknown, one that takes in all the diverse wonders this wide world has to offer, that your legacy might grow ever greater. To be certain, it would be a less trying task to sleepwalk ever onward down the same well-furrowed path, yet to venture down paths untrodden, believing in the bright and glorious future that lies beyond them, is by far the more rewarding. This is the gift that we wish to deliver unto you, the gift of adventure. And we pray, with all our hearts, that you will continue to walk with us. We thank you for joining us on this journey, heretofore and hereafter. Now, the time has come for this vision to end. Time for your eyes to open from this waking dream. One cannot know what fills the hearts and minds of those who look to the sky this rising night. Perhaps you and I will see very different images in those explosions of light and color. But one thing I know for certain, that right here, right now, we look to the same sky. And though the paths that lay ahead of us may lead in very different directions, sometime, someplace, they shall cross again. Thank you, Yoshi P. Naoki Yoshida. "'Tis almost time for the display to begin. the consummation not only of our labors, but of the thoughts and prayers of the people of this fair city. A salute for the departed, and for those who set sail into unknown waters. Many adventures yet await you, my friend. May the navigator's breath ever fill your sails. From eastern sea to eastern sky, the sacred sun ascends, and voices stir of wind, of waves, of ropes, of sails, of friends, who like the golden light of dawn that streams across the sea, set sunlit sail for foreign lands, may fortune follow thee. Her journey done, so sinks the sun below the western waves, and memories stir of friends of yore asleep in watery graves. Let not our voices raised in song disturb your endless sleep, but join us in our chorus, and you dream among the deep. An excerpt from an ancient mariner's song, a prayer for the safe return of those who sail o'er the far horizon, and for the peace of those who sleep beneath those same eternal waves. It concludes with a wish that the voices of those whose spirits are stirred in anticipation of new adventure reach the ears of those whose adventures ended too soon, that they might be united as one. A fitting sentiment for the rising, methinks. And so I offer you my own heartfelt wish, that even should your adventures carry you beyond the far-flung horizon of this wide world, we should meet once more in a 12 months' time, and look up to the same sky together. Lovely. You have unlocked the toy chest. Open the toy chest found in any inn room to play minigames. No, I unlocked that. I already had that. What? Additionally, certain notable personages have been seen to frequent the anchor yard this rising. Do the same, and you may be greeted with an unexpected encounter. Anchor yard, huh? For 11's sake. Wait, I'm in the anchor yard. Here we go. A soft westerly wind blows across the anchor yard. Yeah, let's enjoy the sea breeze. You hear footsteps approaching. You turn and see. The acting captain of the Bloody Executioners? Sure. If it isn't my old mate Chinasia. I heard you had a hand in the fireworks, but I thought you'd be long gone by now. I'm glad you stuck around, though. Gives me a chance to thank you. For getting the executioners involved, like. Can't say you didn't run us ragged getting the whole fleet loaded up with 10 tons of fire sand and ready to sail at a moment's notice. But it was well worth it in the end. Aye, there's nothing a pirate enjoys more than a bit of the old pyrotechnics. The perfect send-off for shipmates past and present. Even got me in the guts, so it did. Most risings I spend at the bottom of a flagon, thinking of those we lost and salting my grog. But this salute's only gone and put the wind in my sails. I'm up an anchor tomorrow in search of an island sanctuary of me own, somewhere to bury me booty. Wish me luck, Genosia, and may Limlayan's breath ever blow at your back. And off he goes. Anyone ills? Whoops. Come on. There. Footsteps approaching, turn and see. Okay, so those are the only 4 options, but sure, Admiral herself, why not? Genosia, this is a coincidence. Reyna was just telling me of the role you played in putting the display together. I'm sure all those who gathered in my city to witness it were as moved as I. A salute to all those who set sail for new adventures. It shall surely resound in their hearts, and give them strength and courage in the year to come. And a salute to the fallen, too, was it not? Many and more lost their lives on the fields of Cartano. The men and women of the Black Sails chief among them. I thank you for giving those who survived them this chance to put their grief to more productive ends. I thank you for giving the celebrations an unmistakable touch of soul, too. This year's rising was not merely in Limsa Lominsa, but of her. I look forward to seeing how future host cities follow our example. But for now, let us focus on the present. I'm sure I have kept you from your business for far too long already. And I must return to mine. I must offer my prayer to Limlayan and be on my way. Fare you well, Genosia. I wish you safe voyages for the year to come. May the navigator's breath ever fill your sails. Alright. Well, I think it's time that we get back to it. Gotta find this queen. Boom. We're Millie. Ooh. Ether current. Lovely. $383 to the west. currently unreachable, I would think. Yeah. Sneeze. Look at these farms. You know, I feel like you're probably overwatering these plants. Constantly spraying them down with water.
I trust you have similar farming facilities in Tyrol? They're completely different from ours. I've got no idea what all those machines do. We settled on this approach after some trial and error. The Tyroli have their own methods of farming, which they wanted to continue employing. But the environment makes it challenging. There's too much rain and not enough light.
Then why are you dousing them with water? What?
Thankfully, the use of electrope has allowed us to fortify the buildings here, as well as provide what nature cannot. Electrope, what? Electrope. It's a material used for myriad devices and applications. A topic for another time, perhaps. If you would follow me, we're nearly to the outskirts.
Uh-huh. Okay, but you say it rains too much, then why are, like, if that ain't a mist of water, I don't know what it is. Also, it's not raining at all. Though, obviously, yes, you get, like, no sunlight here. Obviously.
Here we are. Though you'll doubtless find much of what you see in Alexandria strange, the traditional agriculture practiced in this village at least should be familiar.
Traditional agriculture?
Queen Sphene? What business brings her here, I wonder?
The Queen has come!
What's up with your little thingies, doohickeys?
You look well, Paquine. And Catogne, I see you've already taken to your new position.
When she introduced herself as queen, I was expecting someone colder. Honestly, she reminds me of you, Lamachi.
Me?
It's only natural for a ruler to love her people. And I should like to know them as best I can, even the most trifling details.
Uh-huh.
The more you come to know them, the more you grow to love them. Who they are and what they've built.
That's it. Beautifully put.
So why do they all have that little thing on their head?
And
also,
it
you
would appear
don't?
that she is well loved in turn.
Your Majesty, you honor us with your presence. And who are these fine people?
Tuliolol's vow of resolve, Wuk-Lamat, and her companions. They come from beyond the barrier, but you needn't worry. They are good people and are to be treated as my honored guests.
The rumors of a link to the outside are true, then. Wuk-Lamat is still so young. Where are my manners? I am Popone, a leader of sorts of the people living out here.
Popone? That is a Tonawautan ring to it.
Right you are. I take it you hail from this region as well? Teshpiani, perhaps?
Yes, I do. I don't suppose you know a woman by the name of Kafkiwa?
Kafkiwa? I'm afraid I'm not sure if I've ever met someone with that name.
Mother isn't here. But it's a relief to know at least some of the people of Yasulani are alive and well.
Your mother, you say? Now that you mention it, I do see the resemblance.
You know my mother?
I do. Yes.
Then tell me, please, where is she?
I cannot say. Not here, but I promise I will in due time.
I have a question, Pepone. Do you recall what happened the day the dome first appeared?
The barrier? Well, I remember fixing a shelf that had collapsed after a terrible earthquake. Then the ground began to tremble. There was a brilliant flash of light, and then... Forgive me, my recollection of it all is rather poor.
You needn't push yourself, Popone. After 30 years, no one could blame you for not remembering.
30 years.
30 years? As in 30 years in the past?
Yes, that's...
Absurd though it may sound, there is no doubt in my mind the events that led to the joining of our lands occurred 30 years ago. Which is not to say I understand why our perceptions of the intervening time are so radically different. We only just became aware of the discrepancy when Zoraljar's military base was completed, and we were at last able to venture beyond the barrier.
I believed you long dead. To have the chance to kill you myself is an unforeseen blessing.
And that's why he said that line, is because it's been 30 years for him.
30 years. Little wonder Zoralja assumed our father had already passed away.
It's not unlike how time passes differently in the First and the Source. The fluctuating space of the rift between them disrupting temporal equivalence. Perhaps the same holds true here, and time flowed faster within the dome.
Which means it's currently flowing faster for us. So what's going on outside, I wonder? You suppose it's still moving faster?
I was able to make contact with Y'shtola not long ago via Link Pearl, so that shouldn't be cause for concern.
Okay. That's good.
And based on the Queen's account, this encampment may have come to serve as a physical bridge between the two planes, after which the dome was forced into the Source's temporal flow.
If we're to be certain of anything, we need more information. Josephine, would it be all right if we had a look around and spoke with the townspeople?
By all means.
Time to see what we can see of Alexandria, then.
And its people. I may yet find familiar faces among the survivors from Yasolani.
You may.
Even if I don't understand the half of it, I would learn more of this place before we confront Zorolja.
Perhaps you'd care to see how we make our living. Though we have always prided ourselves on the use of traditional Tonawatan farming methods, the use of electro-fueled technologies has led to countless agricultural innovations.
I would join you as well.
Ma'am, please, you needn't trouble yourself.
It's no trouble at all. And I promise not to cause any manner of distraction.
Reassuring words, or they would be had I not heard them countless times before. Very well, but do be careful.
Of course. I shall proceed with the utmost care. Now then, if you two would follow me, we can begin the tour.
Uh-huh.
I can't say that I trust her yet, but I trust that her affection for these people is genuine. And that's enough for me.
Electro has done much to improve the efficiency of their farming, but hasn't replaced everything. The people wanted to preserve their old way of life, and we did not want to force ours upon them. You went to such lengths so that our cultures could coexist, even going so far as to learn our tongue. I'm sure everyone appreciated that. Communication was thankfully not an issue, for the Turali tongue is surprisingly similar to Alexandrian. Of course, there are words and phrases for which there is no equivalent, but those can be taught with minimal effort. Through mutual respect, understanding, and patience, we Alexandrians and Turali have learned a great deal from one another. And I am sure there is much you wish to learn as well. So please, if you have questions, do not hesitate to ask.
Hang on. Once again, another one of these little bots popping up in my chat. Getting a lot of them lately. A day in the life. Sphene is eager to show you around.
Rather than bore you with the lengthy explanations, let us head back to the farm we passed earlier. Yupier's Halo, it is called. We can speak with one of the farmers when we arrive. I guess we're off to Yupier's Halo.
Look at that. Looking cool. Also that sheen on these metal surfaces. Reflections. Looking great. Interesting. This is... It looks like a dried up waterbed. Dried up river. Mahusa.
me to introduce you to Mahuswa, one of the most experienced farmhands in all of Alexandria. She's well versed in myriad farming techniques. Indeed, the wealth of knowledge she has shared with the other farmers is what has allowed this place to flourish. Queen Sphene, to what do I owe this sudden shower of praise? My apologies for the interruption. I am come with guests from beyond the barrier. They wish to learn more of Alexandria, and so I invited them to see how our crops are grown. I do hope that's all right. So the rumors of visitors from the outside were true. What manner of hosts would we be to deny them a look around? And I gather your majesty also intended to check on things here? You know me too well, Mahuswa. I thought to seize this opportunity to see how the farmers fare, and perhaps pepper them with a few questions, though I do so enjoy observing and taking part in the work too. 'Twould appear we have her permission, so please, walk the grounds to your heart's content. You go on ahead. I'll keep Sphene company. Don't misunderstand. I'm not the suspicious type, but given our positions, it would make sense for us to go around together. Wouldn't you say? A fair point, but be sure not to let me out of your sight. I shall remain under Wuklamot's watchful eye. Pray, come find us after you've seen your fill and spoken with the other farmhands.
Uh-huh. Guess we'll talk to Elias over here. Light levels appear to be fine. As for the power source... You wish to know about my job? I tend to the fields, mostly. Watering the crops, keeping the soil fertile, and so on. It admittedly took some time until I fully understood how best to carry out my duties. I also manage the lamps we use in the fields. We do our best to keep everything up to code, but should they ever start to malfunction, it's up to me to fix them. The land and sky being what they are, ensuring a rich harvest makes for constant work. But honestly, I enjoy how involved the process is. Both my parents being Alexandrian, I didn't grow up knowing much of anything about farming. Every day is an opportunity to learn and grow. So Alexandrians didn't really farm much, you're saying. Oh, an unfamiliar face. I gather this is your first time on site then. Well, this here's the storehouse, or rather, the entrance. The real storehouse is underground, much more spacious and equipped with a temperature regulation system to keep the harvest from spoiling. Since the entrance is so small, it's much easier to prevent wild beasts from wandering inside, which also makes it a viable facility for breeding and raising livestock. We've even got a few beds down there for emergencies. My parents often complain about how Alexandrian technology and electrope complicate our lives, but it's just a matter of learning how things work. Take my job, for instance. I'm presently overseeing the storage of harvested crops. They'll be taken up to the tower for processing, and from there find their way to every dining table in Alexandria. The work is hard, I'll not deny, but I take great satisfaction in what we do.
They're saying that you and yours are visitors from beyond the barrier. Is that true?
Yeah.
So it is, which means we're connected to the outside world again. Not that I have a desire to leave, mind you. I'm quite content with life here in Alexandria. But setting that aside, you're here to observe our work, right? As you can see, I'm in charge of livestock. Here at Ypres Halo, we produce not only fruits and vegetables, but also meat, poultry, and eggs. Tending the animals is an absolute joy, but I have to be careful not to grow attached. It's always a little sad when they're shipped off, but a job is a job. Well, I need to get back to it. But it was nice talking to you. Please give my regards to the Queen.
Huh? Interesting that she differentiated between meat and poultry. Most people would consider poultry to be meat as well. There she is. Look at them gourds. Giant.
I see. Don't be too hard on yourself. Anyone would have been hard-pressed to deal with such a thing. Oh, welcome back. My apologies for failing to notice your return. I gather you've had your fill speaking with the farmers. Then let us return to Mahusa. Well, what are your impressions of the farm?
Everything was surprisingly normal.
Oh, that's comforting to hear. Your words serve to affirm that my people do not work with undue strain. And what do you think of our little tour, Lamachi? What did you just call me? Was that inappropriate? My apologies. I heard the others call you by that name and I thought... No, it's fine. As you said before, we've no need for titles and formalities. As for my thoughts, I was very impressed. That machines could be used to overcome so harsh an environment is amazing. I've never seen anything like it. The feeling is understandable. Indeed, many still find the machinery behind me baffling. It's a system that controls the distribution of water for the fields and livestock. It's been acting up lately, though. Acting up, you say? You needn't worry, my queen. It happens fairly often. Put simply, it's taken in water that had a strong lightning charge. We think some creatures have become charged up with the energy and they're releasing it into the river we use as a source. The system would return to normal if the creatures were dealt with, but I'm reluctant to beg it of the army. We could take care of it if you'd like. That is most gracious of you to offer, but it is much too dangerous. Oh, it's no trouble for the vow of resolve of Tuliolal. Regardless of how the relationship between our nations may develop, if there are people in need, I want to help. Simple as that. And Genasi is even stronger than I am. It shouldn't take us long at all. Then very well, I gratefully accept. But please take care, or take all care. This ought to go even faster if you and I search for lightning-charged fiends on our own. Good hunting!
Off we go. Off to find some lightning-charged fiends. Especially near the river. Surveying. Thunder Spirit. Chua! Woo! Sure. Yeah. That's one. Come on out, little fiend. Aha. A little bit closer. There we go. Woo! Didn't take long at all. Just too powerful. What level are the quests lately? 97. Interesting. So we're still 2 levels ahead of the main quests. That's okay.
You're both alright, thank goodness. You really needn't to have worried so much. We barely broke a sweat dealing with the fiends. They're all gone now. Of course I was worried. You're my dear guests. But thank you. We truly appreciate this. Indeed. With this, we won't have to ask Zeralja's machines for help. He's been making a concerted effort to bolster his forces, sparing but a fraction for the people's protection. He thinks nothing of our safety, unlike Queen Sphene. That's enough, Mahusa. If you have grievances, I will hear them later. But to speak of the king now... No, she's right. He's never been one to look after his people. Anyway, thanks for letting us tour the farm. The folk here are delightful, and it was a pleasure to meet them. You couldn't have favored us with more uplifting words. My people are my pride and joy. And you never fail to let us know, nor how much you care. Of course, you're my precious family, all of you. You seem a good sort, Sphene, I'll admit. But you'll forgive me if I'm not ready to lower my guard for the enemy queen just yet. For you to be called that, I dread to imagine what villainy your majesty has committed. Come now, this is no laughing matter. A ruler is responsible for the welfare of countless lives, and one wrong decision can lead to untold suffering. Failure is unconscionable. Now, I believe we are done with the farm. Let's move on, shall we?
Yes. On the cloud.
Perhaps we should head back to the outskirts? I dare say your friends will also have returned by now. My thanks again for dealing with the fiends. Come and visit us anytime.
I suppose one benefit is if time did move differently in here, we'd be spending like weeks or months here and it would only have been like a day or two out there. So that's a good, for us, that's a good time difference. That it's not like we're in here for what feels like a day to us, but it's been like a month outside. That would suck.
Do you hear that?
What's happening over there?
It's nearly time.
Huh? Feel like this is probably something you should have mentioned earlier.
I'm glad you could make it.
Nearly time for what?
Are you with us?
Queen Sphene has come to see you.
We're here, Namika. Everything is going to be all right.
Wait a minute.
What's the matter, dear?
This is our Namika. She even still has the bracelet.
It can't be. That's the bangle I gave to Namika.
You know her?
Of course I know her. She was like a mother to me.
I see. She was always willing to lend a kindly ear to others, but rarely did she ever speak of herself.
Is it really you?
She must have arrived shortly before the barrier manifested. For us, it was perhaps days, but for her...
Namika, it's me! Wuklamat!
I'm afraid her time with us is nearly at an end.
Has she no more soul cells?
She always used hers sparingly, but at her age, it wouldn't make a difference.
Soul cells?
Ma'am, the ushers have arrived.
Ushers?
Thank you, Namika, for your many years of friendship. Take comfort in the knowledge that this is not the end. Be not afraid. Your memory will live on in us.
Living on in memory. The giants share a similar belief.
Wait, where are you taking her?
Worry not. She is being escorted to a medical facility in the tower. There we will ease her burden. I had hoped to make arrangements for her sooner, but she wished to remain here for as long as possible. I could not bring myself to refuse her.
What do you mean by ease her burden?
Is there any way I might stay with her for a little while longer? We may not share the same blood, but she was my mother. Please.
Let us give them some time alone.
She didn't speak, but I'm grateful that I could be with her at the end. Thank you.
It's not the end. Oh, nothing. I was just thinking that we have much to discuss. Where shall we begin?
No, what do you mean by
With what we can be reasonably certain of, perhaps. Between what we have witnessed and the testimony of Alexandria's inhabitants, it's safe to say that two distinct lands have indeed become one. What's more, having met Namika, there is no denying the divergence in the passage of time. Taken together, these phenomena strongly suggest that some manner of cross-rift displacement has occurred. Specifically, the displacement of Alexandria from another reflection to the source.
It does seem the most likely explanation.
What perplexes me, however, is the scale of said displacement. It far exceeds what could conceivably be achieved with a Void Gate, or even with the Crystal Tower. In essence, we are dealing with a localized instance of dimensional compression. The Ascians would no doubt liken it to a rejoining. Which invites the question, how was such a feat accomplished?
I wish that I had an answer for you, but this talk of reflections and dimensions is well beyond my understanding. I can only tell you that we lived peacefully under the barrier's protection for many, many years, until the day that peace was suddenly broken.
If I may clarify, the barrier predates Alexandria's displacement.
By several hundred years, yes. To when the continent we call home was ravaged by a devastating cataclysm. The barrier was erected to isolate us from the surrounding land's noxious influence.
I see. And it was only later that it was whisked away, along with its contents, by means unknown.
In other words, Sphyn's as lost as the rest of us, right? The Alexandrians didn't mean to end up in Tural.
course, our next stop ought to be Everkeep. That tower over yonder.
What's with that expression changing? Like,
once you have been registered as my guest,
change the subject.
you will have access to Solution 9 and its residential district, where you will doubtless gain invaluable insight into Alexandria's state of affairs. Unfortunately, I cannot take you directly to where Zoraljar resides.
That you'd let us in it all goes a long way toward proving you're not content to let Zoraljar do as he pleases. But we're not talking about a simple difference of opinion here. I've come to avenge my father. And to do so, I intend to take Zoraljar's life. Are you willing to stand by and allow Alexandria's king to be slain?
A fair question. Permit me to answer it thus. My people come first. Their welfare is paramount. I will do everything in my power to keep them from harm. It is a ruler's duty. Now, I am off to register you at Everkeep. It may take some time, but you shall find the entrance open to you in due course. Oh, and ere I forget, your mother, Kafkiwa, you might try the Thunder Yards to the east.
The Thunder Yards? Is that where she is?
I'm afraid I can say no more than that. Make for the Thunder Yards, and all will be made clear.
what is with your crypticism, ma'am? We can't say more than that. Just go to the Thunder Yards. What was that?
It's not as if we have other pressing business. Not until we can get into this Everkeep, anyway.
What is with this place? What's with those devices on her
Thank you
head?
for earlier. And for being a friend to Namika these past 30 years. It means a lot to me.
Namika? I'm sorry, but I don't know who you mean.
Huh?
What? We were just with her. If this is some sort of a joke, it isn't funny.
I don't mean to give offense, but I honestly have no idea who you are talking about. I'm sorry.
How can you not know who she is? You're in charge here. She was under your care.
Then in all likelihood, my memories of her have been stored in the cloud.
What?
Any person seemingly forgotten without reason is probably there, in the cloud. Oh, I really must be getting back to work. If you'll excuse me.
What?
What's going on? How could Pepone suddenly forget about Namika? It's as if he never knew her. Could the same thing have happened to others as well, I wonder? There's only one way to find out. Let's make inquiries about Namika in the area. We can reconvene afterwards at the Aetheryte.
Also, now it's raining. Let's attune. Let's talk to the gemstone trader. Probably also... I guess... Do we need to talk to the forecast terminal? I don't think so. No. South. This place has some strange goings on. Why won't the queen just tell things to us straight? What is she hiding?
An old woman named Namika? I'm afraid I don't know that person. I'm sorry. I couldn't be of help.
You were giving care to her.
I do recall caring for someone until recently, and you say that it was a woman named Namika? Well, I can't say for certain if it was her. I wouldn't worry. I'm sure she's just been taken up to the cloud. What does that mean? What does that mean? What's that? Do I know a Namika? Never met anyone by that name, and I've worked at the outskirts for a good while now. If she'd spent time here, I would remember. Would you, though?
Stealing people's memories and sending a person up to the cloud? I don't like it. We wait here for our friends.
So it was the same for everyone. Not a single person remembers Namika. It's as if the memory of her has been purged from their minds. While such a thing might be done with magic, to alter the memories of so many at once would be a tremendous undertaking. We would have felt a surge of ether corresponding to the act too, and I sensed none in that moment. Neither did I, but I did notice something else. Right before Pepone seemingly forgot, a light in the device on his head began to blink. Could there be a connection? Someone also said something about soul cells. But who might we ask about this? If we continued making such inquiries, I expect we would only cause confusion. Indeed. If we can't readily solve the mystery about Namika, perhaps we could search for Kakuya.
I can't remember. There's a weird pronunciation to that name. Instead,
Sven said to try the Thunder Yards. It should be in this direction.
What is that?
What is it? Who? Impossible!
Or
impossible! Another kind of mechanical soldier? It looks dangerous. We'd better destroy it. Ah! Should we give chase?
I think it understood our words. It might be worth asking it some questions. Arenville, are you alright? You look like you've seen a ghost. It's nothing. I'm fine.
Well, it went off in the direction we're headed anyway, so let's try and track it down.
Let's. Southwest now. Should be fairly close though. Just don't tell me it's on the other side of this wall. It totally is on the other side of the wall, isn't it? Yep. Dang it. Off we go, I guess. To the Thunder Yards. There it is. Also, Wilkemot, how could you look at this round guy and think, looks dangerous?
You found it?
Yeah, it went that way.
To the northeast. Then it must be bound for the mines. Come on then! It could well be a trap, so let's not rush in too quickly.
Trap schmap. I can handle whatever we find in the mines. Hello? The bar finished. East Yasulani.
I heard faint voices coming from inside. So it's not alone, but we're still going in, of course. This may be a trap. Be ready for a fight, everyone.
What? How could this? Why did anybody look at this and go, "Oh, it might be a trap"? A trap by who? How? A mysterious floating orb robot that we just decide to follow because, what's that? Like, there was nothing familiar about it, nothing, that would be designed to make us want to follow it. And again, who? I can hear them. Several people ahead. I can't make out their conversation with the echoing.
Let's keep going. Stay on your guard.
Again with the stay on your guard. Come on. Nothing in here that we can't handle, especially together.
What is this?
Arenville!
A trap?
Elenispia. It really is you!
Huh?
Huh?
Who?
I just had to get a look at you in the light. And I can still hardly believe my eyes. But it is you, my darling Elenispia!
My darling, what now?
That's his name. His given name.
Oh, it's so good to see you, my fussy little bun bun. But what are you doing here? What brings you all this way?
Are you alright?
Why the long face? Aren't you happy to see me after all this time?
I'd know that laugh anywhere. Mother?
Wait. Since when was your mother a weird floating thing?
I assume in the past 30 years.
And what have we here? Say, aren't you Galul Jaja's kitten? I knew I recognized that adorable fuzzy face. Elenispia was always so excited whenever you invited him over to play. You remember me, I hope?
I can't say that I do, but you know my father?
Can't say that I do.
Appearances notwithstanding, it would seem this is my mother, Kafkiwa.
Kafkiwa. Okay, there's a F in there. Kafkiwa.
I'm sorry?
Oh, but this won't do.
Uh-huh.
Come in! Friends of my Elenispia are always welcome.
Yeah, it sure is a time to jump in.
All I ask is a little forewarning, but no.
Just when I thought I was starting to get a handle on this place. How are things still getting stranger?
As far as I can tell, this is indeed my mother. I can think of few people in the world quite so spirited. But as to what's happened, we'll need to ask her. Yeah. Let's hear what she has to say. Let's.
It's so wonderful to meet you all. And the students of Valdesian. It's been a while since I heard that name.
Dare I ask the reason for your appearance?
Yes, at least Hill has good bits like this.
Oh, this? It's just a body that I control remotely. I use this for our operations. We're members of a resistance organization, Oblivion, we call ourselves, and our goal is to thwart Zoralja's ambitions for conquest. As the leader, it's prudent that I remain where I can't be easily found.
I see. Whimsical appearances notwithstanding, yours is a serious cause.
Right you are. Though, truth be told, Oblivion was founded for an altogether different purpose.
And that is?
As I expect you've already noticed, everything you see within this dome, the buildings, the people, the very earth beneath our feet, is a fusion of two worlds. Stopping such a fusion was Oblivion's original mission.
Then, does that mean you know who or what is responsible for it?
I'm afraid not. This was a long time ago, and our mission statement has become more of a legend that's passed down to members. By the time we joined, our sole objective was stopping Zoralja. But we failed to do that, and now he's taken his army outside the dome.
None of you wear those strange devices on your heads. Does that have something to do with your work?
You mean this? It's a regulator, the pinnacle of electrobe technology. And that we don't wear it is indeed related to our operations.
What exactly does it do?
Allow me to explain. Regulators have two primary functions. The first, as the name suggests, is the regulation of the wearer's reserve of souls. Should they die, the regulator expends a soul to bring them back to life.
Reserve? You mean people walk around carrying spare souls?
They do. Souls are packaged in cells, and they can be used to replenish the life force that is lost due to sudden death, such as in accidents. They do nothing for those who die of old age, though. Distribution of soul cells is based on one's work evaluation, to encourage exemplary performance when fulfilling their duties.
Souls as a common resource, and payment for services rendered. The Voidsent practice of consuming others for their ether comes to mind, and similarly I expect that the act comes with some risk.
Wouldn't the consciousness of others corrupt your own?
That is prevented through memory management, a process in which regulators also play a role.
Memory management? Then the reason everyone has forgotten Namika's existence.
The regulators are constantly recording the memories of their wearers, so if they should suddenly die, their memories can be refreshed as part of the restoration process. This is how they preserve one's identity and sense of self. However, the regulators are also triggered when someone else dies. Reason being is that regulators forcibly extract memories relating to the deceased from anyone wearing one.
Why would they do such a thing?
It's a kindness bestowed upon the people by Everkeep's core system, so that no one has to suffer the pain of loss.
So this is what is meant by their memories being in the cloud?
Indeed. All memories of a deceased are wiped from the minds of the people and archived in the system. It's a frightening function of the regulators, and an integral step in soul cell production. You see, when a person dies of natural causes, their soul is temporarily housed within the regulator. Natural causes like suddenly falling dead. It's then delivered to a facility where memories are separated from the soul. The result is a fresh soul cell, free of impurities, ready for distribution and consumption. Oh, hey, look, a free soul.
Yeah! Woohoo! My lucky day! So glad that guy died.
Meanwhile, the memories are stored in the core system to be remembered forever.
And this is why people are happy here? On its surface, it's similar to the Yokui philosophy, but I see nothing noble or comforting in it.
Well, it doesn't seem so terrible to me personally. All comes down to what you're used to, I suppose. Like the barrier encasing Alexandria, this system was created to overcome the calamity that transformed the world hundreds of years ago. Amidst the mounting death toll, scientists used Electrope to devise a means to save what lives they could, so that the nation could endure.
I understand the people of Alexandria did what they believed was best to save their people. I just find it hard to believe that Turali would also accept this way of living.
It came as a shock to us as well. In fact, a great many were opposed to it. Which is why the use of regulators was never compulsory. The people have always been free to go without them if they so wish.
Sphene didn't strike me as the sort of ruler to impose her will on others.
Ah, so you've already met?
She's the one who suggested we come to the Thunderyards in the first place. She also said she wants to help us stop Zorolja.
Awfully kind of her to point you in my direction, and to speak so candidly as well. Whatever her motives, she has given the people a choice. Live with the risk of true death, or the security of the regulators.
Everything that lives must someday die. That is the natural order of things.
Quite right. But however you feel about them, it would be easier to understand what the regulators are capable of if you saw it for yourself. I know just the person to show you, and as luck would have it, they should be starting work right about now.
Who are we going to see exactly?
Come with me and you'll find out.
Quest accepted. Though I am concerned about Kefkria. I mean, she says she's controlling that bot from afar, from a secret hidden place, but like, what's the state of her? Is she more of a guy in the chair, still perfectly fine and healthy, or is she more of a like a Mr. House, barely being kept alive in a tube?
Everyone here? Good. It is the responsibility of the Thunderyards hunters to fell any fiends found wandering the area. We're to meet an acquaintance of mine, Strika, one of these hunters.
Strika? Does it look like you're outnumbered? I don't think it does. Don't mind me, sentry. Strika.
Kefkira? What are you doing here? And with so many friends?
Apologies for the interruption, but I was hoping they might observe you at work. Hunting you?
Oops. Hunting, you mean? That's fine, I guess. Hold on. I assumed they were wearing special regulators like Queen Sphene's crown, but they aren't wearing anything at all. It's much too dangerous to be here without one. What if they were struck by lightning or attacked by beasts?
I can assure you, they're all quite capable of looking after themselves. If anything should go amiss, I will take full responsibility.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you. Danger aside, there isn't really much to see. Kefkira said you're a hunter, but wouldn't it be easier for those mechanical soldiers to guard this place? It would, if not for the fact they're weak to lightning. The Thunder Yard being what it is, they've been ordered to steer clear. Some good they are, eh? But these facilities are vital to the upkeeping of Alexandria's infrastructure, so it falls to hunters like me to deal with any fiends. Given the danger, we're well compensated for our work. It's a perfect profession for anyone looking to build up savings. The special selection of souls for hunters isn't terrible either.
I brought this lot here to see this danger you speak of, if it's not too much trouble to ask.
Ah, of course. In which case, it'd be a shame to waste my efforts on just any old beast. You all can handle yourselves in a fight, right? If you cause a ruckus slaying what critters you see nearby, there's a chance you'll draw out something worthy of a demonstration. I'm not sure I understand, but I suppose we should each slay what we can.
Strika worrying about our welfare. Please. I've been to the edge of the universe. Nothing out here scares me. What do we have? Is it just gonna be a Thunder Spirit, but a special quest Thunder Spirit? Oh no, it's a charged Bolt Hound. Sure. Oh man, this sword actually looks really sick in its twin blade form. Also, I should probably summon my Chocobo for healing. Surveying. Cutscene? A large beast. With one big eye.
This one will do nicely.
Ah, monk, are you?
We'll help you. It's fine, really. I faced worst. Just watch. I don't like the looks of this. Let us help! Oh no. Look out! Ah!
Guys, it's a demonstration of how the soul cells work.
12 preserve.
She needs healing!
No, she doesn't. Alice. How do you guys not understand? You literally saw it firsthand with Zeralja.
That was embarrassing. The caught me off guard. Are you mad? Seriously, let us help! I told you not to worry. This will only take a moment.
Now, what is that? Because I don't like the look of that. Don't like the red. And it makes me wonder what the cost of that is.
Just like Zeralja. Come on, let's get out of here. That's also a function of the regulator?
It appears so. A concerning function, to be sure.
I think I understand now how Zeralja was able to return from the dead and defeat Papa. But I'm not sure what he saw at the end, or what we saw at the end there. As soon as the regulator turned red, it was as if you were possessed. Your movements became beast-like. Don't tell me, you empowered yourself with the soul of a beast? I'm reminded of the serpentine soldier we encountered at Vanguard, who did the same. So you've crossed paths with one of the king's elite? Such a form can only be achieved from gorging yourself on souls. We could do the same in theory, but it's incredibly dangerous. Besides, it's not as if they'd allow hunters to carry that many souls to begin with. Well, I should be getting back to work. Take care.
And there you have it. Regulators can be loaded with two kinds of souls, those of peoples and those of beasts. The souls of people can be used to grant the user preternatural strength. Naturally, they can also be used to ensure no one suffers an untimely death.
And what about the souls of beasts?
They work much in the same fashion, imbuing you the strength of the chosen animal. If, for example, you use the soul of a wolf, you would grow more agile and feral, as you saw with Strika. Using several of the same type at once, however, would result in physical changes. Your teeth might become fangs, your nails claws. Too many and you'll become more beast than man.
Changing one's form through the souls of other beings becomes more and more reminiscent of Voidsent. Yet unlike the void, where the cycle of death and rebirth is simply broken, souls here are forcibly taken before they might reach the ethereal sea. Different means to achieve similar ends. A cycle to which all within the dome are bound. So, how are more people born then?
This is wrong. This is all wrong. It is indeed hard to accept, being so far removed from our own beliefs. Perhaps more shocking is that the technology to achieve all this was developed hundreds of years ago.
The civilizations in the reflections are surprising indeed. But yeah, how does this world of Alexandria, this reflection, function? Because here in the source, people live and then they die, and then their soul goes off to the ethereal sea, and then from there it splinters and is used when new life is born. You know, so when new life is born, a splinter of a soul from the ethereal sea goes into that new life. And so there is this cycle of life, death, and rebirth. But if you are forcibly grabbing that soul before it can go to the ethereal sea, and then feeding it, like using it to revive people from an untimely death, how are new people born? How do you continue to have so many souls to use in this way? I don't know, this is much like the 13th, yeah, the 13th I believe it was, the Void. I'm not sure this was completely thought through. Because, like, when we went to the 13th, these people that have been there since the cataclysm turning the place into overwhelming darkness, you know, dark aspected ether, there is no ethereal sea to return to. People just die and revive and die and revive and die and revive. Stronger souls take less time to revive, I think it was. Or, yeah, I think that's what it was. And then, so there's, you know, a difference in how long it takes, but you die, you revive. Unless your ether gets gobbled up by another void person, in which case they consume your ether, and then your ether becomes a part of their ether, and it kind of mixes together, and they get some of your memories and some of your personality mixed in there, and they start to lose a sense of self, especially once they consume more and more and more people. But also, the only way to live, to continue to live, is to consume ether, which means you have to consume some ether. So how it is that in the thousands of years, you know, hundreds or thousands, I don't know if they ever specified an exact amount of time that it's been since the cataclysm, but it's been a long time that this has been going on. You'd think there would be very few Void Sent left, completely gorged on the ether of those that they had to eat in order to survive this long. And yet that's not the case. Somehow there are still millions of Void Sent out there. It doesn't make sense. It does not make any sense.
how there can still be so many people that have to eat other people in order to survive.
While we all have our thoughts on souls, for now the important thing is we know what power Zoraal has at his disposal.
It is one thing to separate corporeal ether from incorporeal ether, but to strip memories from the soul entirely is unprecedented technology.
This is no longer only Turialal's concern. With this newfound power, Zoraal has become a real threat to the entire world. Indeed, he has to be stopped, no matter the cost.
Indeed, indeed. Kafkia. Embracing oblivion. Regards me with concerned curiosity, huh?
I trust you've gained an insight into the use of souls in Alexandria? It's shocking, I know. I was overwhelmed myself at first. I expect you'll need some time to digest it all. But for now, let's head back to Earth and Sky.
At this rate, there's something I want to discuss with everyone. Let's take a moment before we head into the tunnel.
Okay. Also, any 240 to the east. That should be doable. While we're out here.
Leave me alone!
Still got a ways to go here in Heritage Found, and then there's another area after this. Ooh, there it is. Back off, ketchup lips. Come on. Seriously?
Why is my jump so pitifully low?
Okay, leave me alone. Go off. Go on. Leave me be while I get this ether current. .336 to the south. It is pretty close, so I think I will go grab that real quick. Is it? I think it might be in this cave. No, southwest. Okay. Tis not in the cave. Aha! Thank goodness I did not jump off that cliff right away. And the next is way far away. Okay. Off we go. The Thunder Yards. So we keep getting more food. Got too much food. And they tend to be a different kind each time, so it takes up another inventory slot. Alright, well, Clement, what would you like to say?
I'm sorry for delaying us, but I have some thoughts I need to share. In both technology and values, it's plain there's a wide gulf between Tuliolal and Alexandria. And while Zoralja knows everything about us, we know hardly anything about what he's become.
Indeed. We haven't even seen what lies within that enormous tower, Everkeep.
So, here I'd like to make a proposal. That is, we work with Kefkia and her people. We need to learn as much as we can about the enemy. The quickest way would be to join hands with Oblivion. We've only just met them, I know, and we shouldn't be too quick to trust. But the fact remains that they share our desire to stop Zoralja.
Sphene too claims to be at odds with the King of Resolve. May I ask why you would cooperate with Oblivion instead?
It's simple, really. Their leader's Erenville's mother. Meanwhile, whatever Sphene may feel, she's a ruler of this nation. There's a greater risk in working with her, and less reason to take her at her word.
A fair point. And knowing Zoralja, we must assume that his arrangement with Sphene was not made without some consideration.
All I know is that it would be heartening to have allies in this strange realm.
I think everyone would agree that any help we can get would be welcome. Hold on. There's no guarantee that it's actually my mother behind the machine. Without seeing her in the flesh, we can't rule out the possibility of a ploy. If it turns out to be a trap, we endanger not only ourselves, but everyone in Tuliolal.
As you say, we have no proof that it really is Kefkia. But I make my proposal in full awareness of this. Whether we're going to war or striving for peace, we need to learn as much as we can. Otherwise, we can't hope to do anything meaningful. As it stands, we know too little about this realm. We need to remedy that. We need to study the enemy, and when the time comes, strike down Zoralja for good and all. What's more, I trust you, Erenville. You've always had great instincts, honed from your time training under your mother.
What if I'm wrong? What if sentiment is clouding my judgment? If it's a trap, we'll deal with it when it's sprung. That's always the way of it with you. Yeah. Fine. If you're set on this, then I'll say no more.
Smile. Then it's settled. Let's head inside and secure ourselves some new allies.
Earthen Sky. Entrance to the hideout. Kefkia. We would like to join Oblivion. Or at least ally with them.
Kefkia, there's something I need to tell you and your people. We came here for no other reason than to strike down Zoralja.
But I thought he was your brother. Do you really mean to kill your own kin?
My kin invaded our nation and murdered our people. As vow of resolve, it falls to me to bring him to account. I am prepared to do what I must, and I won't hesitate when the time comes. Like us, you and yours oppose Zoralja. In light of this, I propose that we work together to stop him once and for all. I realize that this is sudden, that it's a gamble to trust somebody you've only just met. But I would trust in the conviction of anyone who shares my goal. So fight with me, I beg you.
As you say, our goals align, and I don't doubt your resolve in the least. If you hadn't proposed working together, I would have done so instead. Truth be told, it's been tough going at it alone. While we've gathered ample intelligence, we don't have the strength to take decisive action. Besides, how could we not trust you? My only son is with you, my fussy little bun-bun. It's all the reason I need. Then it's decided. Here's to a fruitful collaboration.
Thank you, Kakuya. Everyone, together we'll achieve great things. I'm sure of it.
Then let's not waste any time. We've been wondering about Zoralja's whereabouts. Is there a palace inside that tower? After a fashion, the king resides on the uppermost level, but while Queen Sphene has a penchant for going out in public, he seldom shows himself. What's more, his movements are highly classified. Not even his commanders are privy to that information. If anyone knows where he is at any given time, it could only be the Queen.
Even if we don't know his whereabouts, Zoralja will eventually march on Tulialal again. That's when we can go after him. The drawback is we'd have to wait for the invasion to happen. Innocents would be put into harm's way. There's also the possibility that he'll leave everything to his minions and not command the army in person.
No, he'll take the field.
What makes you so certain?
My brother has always yearned to surpass our father. That's why he attacked Tulialal. After waiting for 30 years, the first thing he wanted to do was demonstrate his newfound strength. But killing Papa didn't satisfy him, so now he's bent on proving himself stronger than me and Kona, who bested him in the right of succession. He challenged me to strike him down. He wants a duel to show everyone that he's superior to the Dawn Servant, and he won't let his minions deprive him of the pleasure.
Then why hasn't he appeared and given you your chance? Surely he's aware of our presence here.
At that, I can only guess. Perhaps he wants to dazzle us with his wondrous realm, but if he won't deign to appear, then we'll force him to do so. Even as we gather intelligence, we make no move to attack him, show absolutely no interest in a confrontation. Knowing him, he'll tire of waiting and turn his attention to Kona instead. He'll attack Tulialal again, like he said he would.
I see. If you believe this is the best approach, then we have no objections. Any campaign against Tulialal requires that Zoralja lead his forces through Vanguard. We'll have lookouts keep an eye on it day and night.
Such a strategy is certainly viable, if we're proceeding with it, though we should warn those outside. Indeed. They'll need time to prepare their defenses.
I should be glad to coordinate our efforts. I'm already in regular contact with Y'shtola, and will make sure to keep our comrades apprised of developments. You can leave Vanguard to us. We'll send word at the first sign of movement.
It seems we have a plan! While we wait for Zoralja to move, you do well to prepare for battle, and it begins with familiarizing yourself with the technology that empowers him. To that end, I'll show you to Oblivion's main headquarters.
Oh? I thought this place was it.
You'll be impressed to know that we're located right inside that tower, in the residential district of Solution 9. Hiding a tree in the forest, as it were. The only question is how to get you through the checkpoint.
Ah, about that. Sphene said that she'd make it so we could enter without issue.
She did? Curious. She's not supposed to have such authority over the sentries.
If I recall correctly, her words were that she would register us as guests.
I see. Perhaps we're in the clear then. When you're ready, come and meet me at the tower entrance.
Before you head out, give us a moment to introduce ourselves properly, eh? After all, names are good to know when working together. Indeed. While Oblivion has operatives all over, we're the main crew here. I'm Geode, the leader of this hideout. And the dependable young twins behind me are Nostalgia and Weakwi.
I'm Nostalgia. It's a pleasure to meet you.
You're Nostalgia, huh?
My sister and I were born and raised inside the barrier. We've been with Oblivion for 3 years, and our main duties are surveillance and provisioning. Twins, eh? That explains the resemblance. Weakwi is a Tanawatan name, unless I'm mistaken?
Tanawatan, that's it.
A Tanawatan name, unless I'm mistaken? That's right. Our mother is Tuliolin, and our father is Alexandrian. They wanted to honor both cultures. They're beautiful names. Thank you. Though I have no memories of my mother, I'd like to think I carry a part of her with me.
Drop something.
So what made you decide to join Oblivion? We wanted to avenge our father. Ambrose was his name, and years ago he was taken away after a scuffle with a soldier over a disagreement. It was a minor incident, so at first we clung to the hope that he'd be released, but when months went by with no word from or about him, we made the decision to remove our regulators. We had already lost the memories of our mother. We didn't want to lose those of our father as well. They've all forgotten about him now, everyone who had known him. That even here, he thinks nothing of his own people. Sometime later, we were approached by a member of Oblivion. Hoping to get justice for our father, we joined the Order. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to darken the mood. No, I appreciate you sharing this. Together, we'll avenge your father. Thank you. Something tells me you have what it takes. You introduce yourself too. Go on. It's pretty much the same story for me. And while mine is a Tanawatan name, I haven't the faintest how things are outside the barrier. It's my dream to go and see it with my own eyes, our mother's homeland. Once peace is restored, you must come and visit. The wilds are beautiful, the food delicious, and everyone's so nice. You'll love it.
And that's us here. We'll meet others in the back room. That's our headquarters. Some of them are a little eccentric, but they have good hearts all. Ah, Eleneshpia. One last thing. It isn't exactly my place to say this, but thank you for seeking out Kafkuya. She talks about you so much, it's clear how important you are to her. That's all. Be good to your mother while you still can, eh? Well, we'll let you go now. Feel free to use this hideout as you like. Embracing Oblivion. And cutscene. Meanwhile, in Everkeep. Are those the soul cell storage?
You've been consulting with Wuk Lamat. No matter. I do not know what you are scheming. But when your realm lay on the brink, you were powerless. You had no choice but to turn to me. Whatever sentiment you may feel for her, it is my power you require. Is it not?
For what?
Perhaps. And yet, knowing the love that Wuk Lamat bears for her people, how she regards them all as kin, I cannot help but wish to spare her the same pain I have suffered. What's more, her friends possess new knowledge. Were we to work together, we might find another path. I know you're loath to consider it, but is there no hope for peace with Tuliolo? What we've already done may be unforgivable, but it needn't continue. You needn't kill your brother and sister.
I slew my only flesh and blood. Yet you attempt to sway me with an appeal to family. The memory of my father's final moments still fills me with disappointment. Age came for him before I did. For long years, I sought to prove the miracle. And weak as he was, defeating him achieved nothing. To kill them is my only recourse. Wuk Lamat and Kona, who bested him as he was in his prime.
They are still your siblings, even if not by blood. That such bonds should mean so little to you.
Yeah.
I am bound to no one. Serve none save myself. I made that clear when first you spoke to me in the Golden City. Remember, I can easily kill your beloved family. If you would protect them, cast aside any foolish notions. Your wisdom and abilities are valuable insofar as our goals align. So think well before you act, Queen of Reason. Wuk Lamat, if you are father's worthy successor, then you will find your way to me. But should you fall short, I will lay waste to Tuli Yolal.
You are insane, dude.
What now?
Ugelmat is eager to head to Everkeep.
Right. Kafkuya is waiting. Let's head to the tower.
Quest accepted. Oh, and there's two ether current quests. Stress testing and Auntie knows best. Auntie knows best. Well,
That is where I'm going to end it for today.
Solution 9, still level 97. So we're still in the level 97 section of quests. Got a ways to go, but we're about to take care of the first 2 ether current quests for this area. And we're halfway to completing all the exploration-based ether currents. So we're doing good there. And there's still an entire another area. Yeah, there's still a lot of stuff left in this expansion here. A lot left to do. We'll have to continue it next week. And on Monday, I believe we'll be finishing up the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. And on Wednesday, I'll be starting up Sea of Stars. So that should be pretty fun. And then next week, more Final Fantasy XIV. Continuing this journey. And I'll probably do those 2 ether current quests off stream, just to take care of those real quick. I might also run around and make sure I got all the ether currents from this half. I assume this second half is like at least partly inside that tower. I don't know. It's at least beyond this wall. Actually, no, the Everkeep is up there. So I'm not sure what all this is. Archaeo Alexandria. But anyways. Be kind to yourself. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next mission. Bye-bye.